Good morning. It's Monday, just a little bit past noon on March the 11th. I hope everybody's catching up from the time change. I know it was dark and a little gloomy this morning when I got up, which I'm not used to, but the sun's shining a bit here in Florida today. I wanted to kind of continue with my overview of things that happened at the Nashville market for those of you who are cross-stitchers particularly today. My video last week was a tour of the facilities there and a peek in some of the shops, and I hope you enjoyed that. I've got two nice interviews coming up from market also in coming weeks. Annie Omar, who has Dirty Annie's Designs. I'm going to be chatting with her some, and you'll see that. And also my friend Arlene Cohen, who does Works by ABC. I just had a trunk show from Dirty Annie's, and I'm hoping to do one with Arlene sometime in the fall. So that's kind of why I focused on some of their designs. What I thought I'd do today, and this may take a little longer than my 15 to 20 minutes, but we'll see, is I want to talk a little bit about the things that I bought at market. It's always exciting to get back and go through my stash and see what is available to folks. And I would say, I hope you'll go to your local needlework shops and buy these wonderful items as well. But if you're in one of those cross-stitch wastelands and you can't get stuff and you see something today that you're interested in, or you'd like me to special order something, I'm always happy to ship. I used to have an Etsy store, but I found that to get to a place where it wasn't quite as competitive as I would like it to be. But again, all I would need from you is an email address and your physical mailing address so I can know how to figure shipping. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in. And I don't mind shipping overseas either if some of you are in places where you can't get a hold of things. So I'm just going to walk through many of these designers I've come to know over the last few years, others not so much. But there's some really fun stuff, and you have seen the video at the beginning, which gives you a close-up of each one. I'm just going to talk about them really briefly here and try to kind of go through the stack. DesignWorks is a company that I've gotten familiar with over the last year. They do these wonderful kits. And the only one I have to show you at this point is called Seize the Day, S-E-A-S. But their kits are really worth checking out, and I'm going to be getting some more of their Christmas stockings in. I got some at market, and I've already sold them. So DesignWorks is fun. One of my perennial favorites is Erica Michaels. I get her stuff every few months. I'm on automatic with her. She does samplers. She always has some wonderful berries in her collections, and this is a special one for Mother's Day. And again, just one of her selections of the berries. I like ideas of how to finish things that don't require always something to be framed. And so the berries have been very popular from that perspective. One thing that my folks here were interested in and that I particularly bought were the pieces from the Anytown series by Heart and Hand. I got Anytown, I got more Anytown, and somewhere here, I don't think I picked it up, but I think I've got Frosty Anytown. And that's a series, that's an ongoing thing, and those are really fun, and the colors are really vibrant. I mentioned already Arlene Cohen and Works by ABC. A very popular design is this 324, where you use 324 colors. You will recognize Arlene probably because of some of her geometric patterns and some of the wonderful patterns that she creates. Another one that I love a lot and that it's probably going to make itself onto my list is this one called Elegant Lace. And that's wonderful. The other thing that Arlene and I talk about a lot is how to capture her Jewish heritage for stitchers who particularly want items that reflect that. And this is a matzah cover. This is not something I bought this year, but I've had it in the past. Hello from Liz Matthews, always has beautiful stuff. One of the things I got this year was this beautiful butterfly cloche that she had. But something that I have lots of and that are very popular also are her 12 Days of Christmas series. and I've got bunches of these in the shop too if you're interested. I came to know Counting Puddles for the first time this year, and I was impressed that they were doing some samplers. So they've got this wonderfully vivid wedding sampler. Yeah, I guess that's the only one from them, the wedding sampler. I get quite a few requests in the shop for people wanting wedding samplers, baby samplers, but they like some of the newer colors and some of the more modern designs. And so I think that's a fun one from Counting Puddles. Spot colors, they always make me laugh. These are great if you have some young stitchers in your life and you want to find something that they would enjoy. Check out Spot Colors. This is a great one probably for Halloween. And then they're great with these sayings. My anxiety gives me anxiety. So check out Spot Colors. I've got a nice variety of their things from past years, but there's a couple that I bought this year at market. Satsuma Street out in San Francisco is a wonderful design company. This is the only piece that I got from them this year, the 4 Elements. You'll always be impressed with Satsuma's wonderful colors. This is one that's meant to be stitched on a dark fabric, so beware if you have trouble with that, but it's a wonderful design anyway. And some of you will also know Satsuma because of their Pretty Little City series. They don't have any new ones, but I've got a nice variety of those here in the shop, if that's something you're interested in. Mindful Needle, I picked up on their 4th of July theme here with this one. 4th of July, patriotic symbols are always popular here in the shop, as well as anything having to do with bees. So I try to always look for those when I'm going. I mentioned the call for samplers. Noteworthy Needle had a couple nice ones that I like with some real modern twists to them. This is called Charming Couple, and it actually does have a really nice set of charms there that goes with it. That helps to embellish that. And they also did a nice one called Charming Child with a nice set of charms for that as well. That's a pretty good deal. Those are $16 and you get all those charms along with the pattern. So just be aware of that. Silver Creek, I always gravitate toward their things. This one made me giggle. Can recall most 1980s lyrics, but still can't remember the reason I came in this room. So Silver Creek will often catch your attention for things like that. Here's a Rainbow Bridge piece for some of you who may have lost pets or have friends who may have lost pets. And then a great one to reflect our new celebration, or our new national celebration of the Day of Jubilee. All of a sudden I'm blanking on the name, but these are more Silver Creek patterns for us. Juneteenth, that's what I was trying to remember. This is helping us to celebrate Juneteenth in the African American tradition. Lucy Beam, from my friends that are also from Virginia in large part. I got a great little patriotic stocking from them this year. That's about the only thing I brought home, but I've got other Lucy Beam here in the shop. You're going to probably recognize some of Stacy Nash's wonderful little animal cracker series. This year I picked up a rabbit and a cute little squirrel and a cute little mouse. I'm trying to turn these so the glare is not so bad. I hope that will work. Hopefully this will just give you some ideas of some of the fun stuffs out there. And if you identify a particular designer that you like, you can always go and look up their work and see what their latest items are. Primrose Cottage, really crisp, beautiful colors in their works. 4th of July rules, more of a kind of a sampler format there. And then something called Little White Christmas, which has a great, wonderful little church design in it. Barefoot Needle Art out of South Carolina. I get them a lot because people, when they move to Florida, want themes that reflect down here. So there's a palm tree and a flamingo. This is a pair of flamingos that I've already had here in the shop from the past. They did a patriotic flamingo this year, which is pretty fun. And then finally from them, I got this vintage American lighthouse pattern, which is nice. And these are pretty easy and pretty quick stitches, so those are nice to look at. Primitive hair, I got some furry baby patterns there. We all love our furry babies. One of my granddogs over in Germany just celebrated his first birthday. Dietrich turned 1 this past week, and my son had a birthday party for Dietrich. So we love our fur babies in our family. Another thing that I brought back from Primitive Hair is a kit, or a pattern for a kit, of the Bees Sanctuary stitching box. And that's a pretty involved thing, and it's a wonderful kit, but it gives you all kind of opportunities for design work there. Blue Flower is another popular designer. This time I got Bees in the Greenhouse, which would be like a biscornu or a needle minder. Somebody was asking me about hedgehogs, so I came back with Hedgehog and Hyacinth. A pretty popular design these days. And then in past months, I gotten into 12 Cats of Christmas, and I also have the 12 Dogs of Christmas. Actually, I think I just sold out of those. But if you're interested in those are Blue Flower designs. Tellin Embroidery for me always has really crisp, beautiful designs, bright colors. The only thing I brought back this time was this wonderful little cardinal, but it's kind of hard to beat that, and that's a Christmas design, and also could be called a sampler because it's got the alphabet there. I'm really excited about this piece from Thread Milk. If you've been watching any of my social media, you've seen me working on my 50-state quilt. Well, Thread Milk has put out a book with designs where you can go in and stitch the 50 states on your own. So you could do a similar project to what I'm doing. You could pick out the specific state that you want to stitch about, or you could do all 50 and come up with a quilt or some other kind of compilation of ideas. So that's a really nice little book that I was excited to see. Monticello stitches, Jean and I talked last year, and I gave her the idea that I personally would find a lot of need in the shop for wedding and birth samplers. And so she came up with a wonderful one called To Have and to Hold. Again, her designs are often kind of have an old-fashioned flair, but a modern twist, and really great colors there. So that's To Have and to Hold for weddings. And then she did For This Child I Prayed, which I believe picks up on some reproduction work from other samplers. Speaking of samplers, I don't have a lot of call for samplers in my shop, but I always like to bring back a few, and I've got a nice selection in the back, particularly of vintage ones. But I was interested in a couple things Cross Stitch Antiques had. Carter House sampler in 1817 made me think about my son, whose name is Carter, and about some of the family connections there. And then there's one in memory of Louise from 1874. And I don't know about you, but when I think about samplers, sometimes I think drab and dreary. And so I always love the ones that have a lot of nice color. And these reproductions are just so much fun to do. Nebby Needle, I really focused in on my bee fetish for this one. There's one called Pollinator's Garden. Nice play on words. And then Voice of the Garden. It's got a beehive and some bees in it. You know, when you see these, sometimes you might be interested in just one motif rather than the whole piece, and that's always possible. Annie Bees, B-E-E-Z, by the way. Now you got a nice patriotic one. And I love this 12 Days of Christmas Stockings. I don't think this is brand new, but I got a couple copies of this here in the shop to sell as we start thinking about the holidays again, because you know you can't wait too long. JBW Designs, they had sold out of these and I had to order them, but they just came in today. Flights of Fancy. That's an Italian design, reproduction from 1801. And it's very, very soft and subtle and beautiful. Jan Hicks Creates, I wanted some of her beachy kind of stuff. So this is a beach cottage one. I'm sorry if these aren't showing up too well. I'm not doing too perfectly, I think, in making sure that the sun doesn't reflect. And again, here's some geometric stuff from Jan Hicks with something called arabesque. And you can see these in the video too if you need to look at them more closely. Teresa Kogut, I like a nice compilation of Halloween designs here. This is a whole book, and this will take you through an awful lot of individual designs. So that's something you want to look at if I've got some Halloween stitching to come. And then here's a sampler called With Thy Hands, but again, it's a booklet, so there's a lot of nice designs that you can use in individual formats. I always love geometrics, and I always gravitate toward ink circles and some of the wonderful stuff they have. Here's one called Fowl Mood, Fowl, which gives you peacocks and other kind of bird images. And then I love this jolly green one that they had this time. Nice thing about those, you can often vary the colors. You could still do this in green, but vary the colors of the borders, things like that as you like. Getting to the bottom of the stack here, and I'm not doing too bad on time, so hopefully you're enjoying looking at these. Hands-on design, I got something called Liberty Pennies, which I thought was fun. And these are another way that you can finish these. They don't have to be framed. They can be put in the hoops and decorated that way. And that botanical bee on that beautiful blue fabric, isn't that great? Always want to give a shout out to my friend Chrissy at Finally a Farm Girl. I have just had her trunk show, so I didn't really need a lot of her stuff, but I did pick up Main Street, which is one of her newest designs here in the shop that you can see. But I've got a real good selection of Chrissy's Finally a Farm Girl designs. So if you need any of those, just shoot me a message. You probably don't want to send your email address or mailing address in the message section here. So you can always call me at the shop or contact me in some way. It's pretty easy to find my shop. Just type in Gary Lee Sly Fabric Arts, and you should come to all kinds of places where you can get in touch with me. As always, I hope you're thinking about ways to create your own legacy of handmade objects, thinking about ways to pass this wonderful craft that we have on to those who will follow us. So have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.